She was only 5 years old when she went missing, but it would take another 2 years before anyone cared enough to look for her. Her mom believed she was sold, and the fine armchair detectives of the internet believed she was stored in a refrigerator. This is the story of Harmony Montgomery, the forgotten little blind girl. Hi friends, I'm Katie, and this is Katie Does Crime. Welcome to those of you just joining, and thank you all so much for your likes and comments. I'm really overwhelmed by how kind everyone has been to me here. Today's case involves how the internet is buzzing over Harmony Montgomery, a now 8-year-old who went missing in 2019 when she was only 5. Why the renewed interest 3 years later? FBI agents recently rolled a refrigerator out of the house where her family once lived, causing mass speculation about a new breakthrough in the evidence. Here's the background of the case, in case you missed the initial news reports. Harmony Montgomery was born in June 2014 to Crystal Sorey and Adam Montgomery, who was doing time when she came into the world. She was blind in one eye and needed special attention, lots of doctor's appointments. Although Crystal was considered little Harmony's only caretaker, I use that word loosely because Crystal lost custody of Harmony 3 times before Harmony was even 4 years old. Now, I have a lot of empathy for those with substance abuse issues, but it's still their responsibility to see that their children are protected. Harmony visited her father twice while he was in prison, and a year after he was released, he asked for regular contact with her. But after just 5 visits, he was like, "Cool, did my fatherly duties, and now I'm off the hook," and didn't set up any further meetings through the Massachusetts Department of Children and Families. Until almost a year later, August 2018, when he asked to resume the visits after months of no contact with her at all. This was right around the time that mom Crystal lost custody of Harmony yet again for her drug problems, so Harmony was with a foster family when the visits resumed. In February 2019, Dad Adam was given custody of Harmony, even though the Division of Children, Youth, and Families, where he lived in New Hampshire, hadn't had time to complete a home study to see if it was an environment fit for raising a child. A couple of months later, Harmony's mom was allowed an Easter video chat with her daughter. But after that, Adam severed all ties with her and her family. Crystal says she spent months calling child services and law enforcement to no avail, and that Harmony seemed frightened, terrified on the call. Someone finally took notice in July of 2019, though, when an anonymous person called New Hampshire DCYF and said they saw Harmony with a black eye. A social worker visited the home and said, "Nope, all good." But a week later, another visit from a social worker revealed a faded bruise under her eye. Her dad said it happened when a sibling accidentally hit her in the face with a toy. And I'll bet she also ran into a door and tripped down the stairs. At the beginning of October 2019, social services came to visit one last time and said that everyone was happy and healthy, there were no signs of abuse, but that the family was definitely at risk. The day after Thanksgiving of that year, Dad Adam told his wife at the time, Harmony's stepmom, that Harmony was going to live with her mom in Massachusetts. After the stepmom went to work, she claimed she never saw Harmony again. When New Hampshire DCYF checked in on the family in January 2020, Adam said the same. Harmony had gone to live with her mom. The social worker called Harmony's mom to confirm that was the case, but her mom just never called back. It was another 8 months before anyone cared to make sure Harmony was okay. In September of 2021, someone contacted New Hampshire DCYF and said that Harmony's mom hadn't seen her since Easter 2019. It was discovered that Harmony has never been to school in Massachusetts. In November 2021, 2 months later, Harmony's mom called a New Hampshire police station to say she hadn't seen her daughter in over 2 years. And police say that according to their records, this was the first time she had called them. So when she later gives that local news interview I mentioned before, where she says that she spent months calling child services and law enforcement, it looks a little suspicious. However, Harmony's mom's boyfriend said he never met Harmony in person, which does add some credibility to her story about not having seen Harmony since Easter. A month later, just after Christmas 2021, New Hampshire Children's Services told Massachusetts police that they couldn't locate Harmony, so the hunt was on to at least find and question her dad. 2 days later, Harmony's mom sent a letter to the local Manchester, New Hampshire mayor pleading for help in finding her daughter. In it, she begged to not have her daughter end up dead and said, "DCYF failed my child 100%, and everyone in our family will vouch for that." And then on December 31st, 2021, Harmony's dad was finally found living in his car. He was not happy to be found and refused to say much. But the police noted that his story changed from, "I saw Harmony recently, she's fine," to, "I haven't seen her since her mom came to pick her up after Thanksgiving." Police were also suspicious that he didn't seem upset at all about the idea that Harmony hadn't been seen by anyone in 2 years. In January 2022, the FBI was called in to help search the property where the Montgomerys once lived, and that same day, Harmony's dad was arrested for assaulting her before she disappeared, interfering with custody, and endangering the welfare of a child. From 2018 to 2019, the police were called to the Montgomery home 29 times, and the New Hampshire Division of Children, Youth, and Families was notified 4 of those times. In the house, they found clutter in every room, empty food containers strewn about, and a generator being used because the power had been cut off. A neighbor said the family lived like squatters. But officials found that the children were clean and fed and were wearing appropriate seasonal clothes when they were called to the house in September 2019 due to a fight between Harmony's dad and his uncle. They probably weren't on great terms after Adam's brother and uncle told cops that they'd seen Harmony with a black eye. Her dad had gotten mad that she was supposed to be watching her little brother, and she'd held her hand over his mouth to keep him from crying. Keep in mind that Harmony was 5 years old at the time and couldn't have known any better. The uncle also said that he'd seen Harmony get spanked hard, have to clean the toilet with her toothbrush, and be forced to stand in a corner for hours. But when the police followed the 2 arguing men into the house, there was food in the fridge, and the children looked healthy. However, in January 2020, neighbors reported a very bad smell coming from the house. And remember, this is just months after Harmony was supposedly taken to her mom's house, but actually disappeared. However, the police report taken about the incident doesn't mention the odor of decomposition, which cops say is unmistakable. Multiple people in the area say that they saw Harmony with her dad and stepmom around Thanksgiving, but at the beginning of December, they had only their other 2 children with them. In one police report, Harmony's stepmom told police that she lost her house key at one point, so she kept the back door of their home unlocked. I'm not sure if she's trying to create doubt about Adam's involvement by suggesting that maybe, someone could have broken in, but then why wouldn't they have reported that to the police? And then in June of this year, New Hampshire police came back to the 1-bedroom apartment where Harmony's dad and stepmom once lived and carried out a refrigerator and floorboards. Imagine how the current tenants who have nothing to do with this case felt watching part of their home get carted off. They told a local news station that the police tore apart a bedroom closet, ripped up carpet and floorboards, and made a hole in the ceiling above the bathtub to be able to get to the pipes. They took off doorknobs and unscrewed shower faucets. New Hampshire Fish and Game also dredged nearby waterways and woodlands. It's expected to take weeks to process the evidence collected so far. The FBI has said that they're looking for anything that could back up the child abuse allegations, like fibers in the floorboard that match an outfit Harmony was known to have had. But, of course, Reddit and Twitter think Harmony was in that refrigerator at one time, that blood must have been detected with luminol. We'll have to wait and see. As for Harmony's mom, she thinks Harmony was sold. Crystal said Adam was a violent person, and that when she was pregnant with Harmony, Adam used to choke her. She thinks that when her son was legally adopted the week of Thanksgiving 2019, Adam had the idea that he could make drug money by doing the same thing with Harmony, except illegally on the black market. Now, this is all, of course, speculation, but it's clear that Crystal doesn't trust her ex. Police, meanwhile, thawed a backyard where Adam used to live with hot water to be able to dig it up, so they're clearly working all angles. The TV news reporter who adopted Crystal's son tweeted that Harmony would be welcome in his home if she's found, and it just gives me chills imagining the better life this little girl could come home to. In an Instagram video, her little brother blew a kiss and said, "Hope to see you soon." There's a lot of blame to go around in this case. The New Hampshire Division of Children, Youth, and Families never followed up to confirm that Harmony really had gone to live with her mom. Her mom, who was supposedly so worried about Harmony, never called them back to say, "Oh, hey, she's not living with me. Perhaps we should be worried that my allegedly abusive ex is seemingly lying about this." There's also the judge who granted Harmony's father custody of her before a home study could be completed. The New Hampshire governor requested an internal review meeting in early February to determine if DCYF had made mistakes in this case. Some of the recommendations that resulted were to improve communications between state agencies and to require that location be confirmed for all children in a household. And if the caregiver doesn't respond, law enforcement should be called in. I'll link the entire report in the description if you'd like to read it. Harmony's stepmom was arrested in June 2022 for allegedly lying to a grand jury about a prior work location and a prior work shift, which people think has to do with where she was when Harmony was last seen. This is in addition to her arrest for welfare fraud in January of this year for collecting food stamps on behalf of the missing Harmony. She was also arrested in April for receiving a rifle and shotgun that she allegedly knew were stolen by her husband. But most eyes are on Adam Montgomery, Harmony's dad, and his litany of offenses that make him seem like the kind of guy who shouldn't be trusted with a child. Now, I won't judge his teardrop face tattoo and Pennywise the Clown neck tattoo, but his past charges include burglary, first-degree assault, and stalking. In 2014, the same year Harmony was born, he shot a man in the head in a heroin deal gone wrong. Well, not that a heroin deal can really go right, but Adam decided to rob the guy rather than pay for the drugs and ended up shooting him in the face. Harmony's dad is also a suspect in a 2008 murder that's never been solved. He agreed to meet up with a man at the White Hen convenience store in Lynn, Massachusetts, and then that man was later found shot in the chest. When his car was found days later, it was near where Harmony's dad was living at the time. Adam has been a person of interest since day one, but no one has ever been charged. And in another interesting twist, the woman who was in the car with Adam Montgomery during his New Year's Eve arrest, Kelsey Small, she was found dead in a hotel room earlier this year in the same town in New Hampshire where Harmony lived. She said she dated Adam for a year, but never heard a thing about Harmony, which is consistent with how much he seemed to care about his little girl. Police don't consider the ex-girlfriend's death suspicious and don't think Adam had anything to do with it. Her obituary only says that she died unexpectedly. Adam's attorney is asking for the body cam footage from his arrest in the car on December 31st, 2021, saying that if the prosecution hasn't handed it over, there must be something telling on it. Sounds like a red herring to me. Adam is currently being held in a New Hampshire jail without bail and spends 23 hours a day in his cell. Thanks to the good people of the internet, a whole load of cards showed up for him on Harmony's 8th birthday at the beginning of June, but corrections officers decided to file them away rather than deliver them. Not that I think that this guy has any capacity for guilt, but it feels good to let him know that we're out here thinking of his lost little girl, even if he isn't. Allegedly, of course. His next hearing is scheduled for June 28th at 9 a.m., which will have passed by the time I'm able to release this video, so let's discuss what happened in the comments. I hope that Harmony, wherever she is able to find the peace and harmony she couldn't find at home. As New Hampshire child advocate Moira O'Neill said, "This should be a reminder to all of us that we need to be paying attention to children in our neighborhoods. We need to be paying attention when children don't show up for school. We need to be paying attention when children aren't keeping medical appointments. We are the safety net for children, and we want to be making sure that we know where they are." Anyone with information about Harmony Montgomery's disappearance is asked to call or text 603-203-6060. Thank you for tuning into my YouTube video. I'm just a true crime fan like you are, and I really appreciate you taking a chance on me. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you liked spending this time together. I'd be so appreciative. Until next time, I'm Katie, and this has been Katie Does Crime. Also a suspect in a is able to find the peace and harmony. Her obituary only says that she died unexpectedly. Did I say bituary? Law enforcement should be called in. I said enforcement. Enforcement.